All right, everybody, welcome back. AIMBOT, we're back. I moved, as you can see. I'm in a different location now. So that was part of the reason why I was gone, but I was also going on vacation doing a bunch of other stuff, but I'm back now. And I'm really, really excited for the show. So we've got sci-fi sword games tonight. I'm sure you saw, we've got Ghostrunner coming up by Blade. I think that run is really interesting. It's got a lot of really, really cool movement tech. But first up, so this is a crew that has done Destiny runs before. They did them for SGDQ. They've done runs at AGDQ, and they've run, I believe it's Deepstone Crypt and Last Wish, and I think one more, but I'm not totally remember that. And some of the people switched out, but this is the group that did the Deepstone Crypt run. And a new raid came out about a month ago, actually the day Frost Fatales ended. And so I wanted to check and see, I approached them. I said, hey, what does the speedrun look like for this? And they said, oh, it's going to be interesting. There's some cool stuff. So I really wanted to bring them on to showcase, what co-op speedruns of this caliber look like, because this is a lot of coordination that they have to do. But also, what something looks like a month after release. And they've found a surprising amount of stuff. There's a lot that they're going to do that's just absolutely completely broken. So without further ado, here's the Destiny 2 crew. I believe their clan name is Balto's Buds, showing off Vow of the Disciple. Shock, Kirk, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Amy. Hey, everyone. Back again. You might have seen me previously on AIMBOT during Time Shift, but you've seen everyone here doing the Deepstone Crypt run at SGDQ 2021, like Amy said earlier. This raid came out actually exactly 1 month ago with the launch of the Witch Queen expansion for Destiny 2. We're here just to kind of show the status of the speedrun. This by no means is like everything super optimized. This is kind of what everyone's found so far. I do want to also note we have not found exclusively and basically any of this stuff. Most of the speedrunner community has sort of just kind of been digging and just trying to really tear this raid apart and bring it down as low as we can go. One thing to note really before we started, you might be wondering what's the stuff over there on the bottom right hand of the stream. This raid is very, we'll just call it heavy with callouts. There's a lot of things you have to memorize, a lot of pictures. The text might be hard to read, but all down there on the bottom right are all of the symbols that we're going to be, we have memorized in our head for this raid. So you guys will hear me call them out a couple of times, but everyone else in the background is going to be shouting these things out at each other. We just, again, all of these just shoved in our head, and we just know them on the spot. But we're going to go ahead and get this started because we have a little bit of a loading screen. So we're going to launch into this. There's nothing really to note about these symbols. These are actually sort of official symbol callouts provided by Bungie in-game, because there's something in-game that's actually tied to what these names are. But again, we just have them all memorized in our head. Nothing too crazy here. The setup that we have is we have 3 Warlocks and 3 Titans. Kirk and myself are basically going to be support / platforming, and the other 4 people are there for basically pure damage. I am a support player in terms of what I'm going to be contributing to the different encounters. Kirk is helping out in support as well, but he's going to be doing a huge platforming section later, and we'll get to that in a second. So we're going to start this run once we load in here. Cool. And the first thing we got to do is we got to get this boss down right here by the door. So this door is entirely locked by that boss right there. Easy kill. It looks like it has a lot of health, but it actually doesn't. So we just use rockets and snipers to kill it as quick as possible. We'll go ahead and get the first thing. This is sort of a this doesn't really count as an encounter because you don't get loot, but people still call it one. This first thing we're going to do is we're just going to call it the boat. There is this little vehicle on the ground, a boat, that is basically, it needs to get carried along to different sections of the map. So what we're going to do is get to this boat, we're going to activate it, and it's going to cause a bunch of enemies to spawn. Once the enemies spawn, we kill 3 beefy targets. Each beefy target will drop 3 orange bars that we have to pick up. Once we pick up all 9 of them, we bring them to the boat. Once we have all 9 in the boat will move on. And that's it. This weapon I'm using here is very important. Its name is Divinity. What it is basically it's a giant laser beam, and when I shoot it at something, the enemy gets a giant like sphere around their body. So they become basically a giant bubble, and all the damage that gets done to that bubble is considered critical damage. I'm gonna have it on basically the entire raid except for one spot or two spots. But it also gives everyone else shooting it a 30% like bonus damage. So it's an insanely useful weapon, not only just for like speedruns, but also general play. But we have to do this boat thing 6 times. So the boat's gonna come here, now it's gonna stop. Same thing is gonna happen. 3 beefy targets are gonna spawn. We're gonna kill them, they're gonna drop the little orange pools, and then we're gonna dunk them in the boat. So 6 times total of this. This is only the second one. This is basically an auto-scroller that only goes slower. We can't really speed it up in terms of like doing anything crazy or like any glitches or tricks. It's only we can go slower.
So Shark, you did this day 1, right? And you all finished it day 1?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, there is a special version of the raid that comes out exclusively for 24 hours. It's called Contest Mode. They basically limit how powerful that you are, and they also they limit how powerful you are, and they yeah, that's basically it. Actually, it's just they limit your power, but that whole limit in power makes things like much more difficult, because not only are you trying to figure out mechanically what's going on, you're also trying to do the combat without getting killed.
Yeah. So like, how difficult was something like this to figure out? I mean, I assume, like I've done some Destiny raids. There's a lot of really cryptic like callouts in the chat that appears on screen. But I imagine y'all are pretty experienced with that kind of thing. Like how difficult was it to figure out, here's what to do, at certain places?
It depends on the specific encounter that we're talking about here. Most of these, so the first actual encounter that we did for this one, it took us, I think, about an hour and a half to figure it out, but like 2.5 hours to actually, or 2 hours to actually do it. The hard part is generally trying to figure out all the pieces, and then executing it is not so difficult. It's kind of just getting all of the pieces in place. Sometimes it's figuring out what damage setup you use. Sometimes it's the actual puzzle. It sort of depends on the encounter. So the first one is a puzzle encounter. It was figuring out how all these puzzle pieces work. But once we got it, we got it immediately. Second encounter is a boss. The problem was figuring out how to do enough damage to clear, to kill the boss. Because with contests on, and your damage is reduced and your power level is restricted, it becomes really hard to do the damage that you're used to doing. So that was the 4th spot. Now we're moving on to the 5th spot. So unfortunately, this is, it's not really an exciting part of the run. Some raids have some pretty cool intros, like the intro of Deepstone, where we're kind of just like, flying past things with sparrows and jumping across gaps. Whereas this one, we're, standing on this thing and we're just killing stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Scoob is in chat. It's funny just when auto scroller mechanics are so simple that you can just like tap out, go to chat, and be like, yeah, this is a really easy mechanic.
Yeah, it's about 6 minutes, 7 minutes before we'll get inside and we actually get to do the run.
Yeah.
So it's just getting inside.
So
Go ahead.
I know you talked about it earlier, but so you're the only person using a specific weapon for this part. Does that change a lot throughout the run? Are you pretty much going to be the divinity guy for the run?
I'm going to be the support divinity guy the entire time. Theoretically, we could have anyone do it at any time. It just does make it easier for managing inventory and stuff. You can see on my inventory over here, I have very specific things. Nothing else basically more than what I need. it just makes it easier logistically to have me do all of the support stuff and everyone else just focus on like damage setups.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the last spot. Once that guy's dead, you can grab these things and then head inside.
Chad is begging you to get the secret chest.
If this was a speedrun, I would, or this was like a marathon run, then maybe I'd say like an incentive thing. But nah, we gotta get going.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting how this first encounter is, because obviously I've watched you guys practice this a bunch. It's interesting how this first encounter is so just plodding and slow. It's definitely a weird way to start it.
Well, and they like to sort of find at the beginning of raids, they like to try to find an encounter that's a nice little warm up to get you started. Like Vault of Glass is opening the door just by standing in the plate and shooting ads. Deep Zone Crypt is you go plate to plate to the safe zone shooting ads. This one is you're on a boat riding it shooting ads. So it's like a small little thing to get you started. It's just unfortunate this one is an auto scroller. So there's a small trick I'm gonna do here. I'm not supposed to have my Sparrow down here. This, right? Yeah. So if I ride my Sparrow and then I side dash right before I land, I can actually keep my Sparrow and I can take it with me. So you're not supposed to have it down here. Normally you're supposed to just drop down and keep going. But unfortunately, funny enough, side dashing will just actually save all the momentum and just like get rid of it, so you don't take any damage. Okay, so this is the first encounter. This is the first time, or this is the only time I'm actually not going to explain what's going on. We actually specifically had Amy sit in on a couple runs to try to learn how this works, because I do have to call a bunch of things out. But I will actually not be saying a lot here. Instead, Amy will be doing all of it. I need...
Yeah. Okay, so I'll kind of take over what's showing off. So if you look at the left on Shock's screen, you're going to see a pole. There's 3 of those scattered around the arena, and on each of those poles, they have to find the correct combo of symbols to put in, and you're going to see the obelisk fill up, and if it fills up all the way, they blow up and die. Each station has 1 pole and 1 key to find a symbol. And this is one of the main places that they're going to use the 27 callouts that you can see on Kirk's camera right now. So you can't hear it, but they're calling out all sorts of things just all over the place. And part of it is they have all of this memorized, so they know what all that means. You know, they're saying like 1 word, and it's honestly really impressive that they have all of it memorized. So they're basically playing in 3 teams of 2. Once all 3 symbols are figured out, they shoot it on the pole. So Shock is about to shoot his. Oh, nope, just checking the symbols. So as soon as they figure out a combo, they're going to shoot. Yeah, so they're calling out Traveler side versus other side, and those are where night enemies will spawn, and you can see them writing in chat the symbols. So while they're doing this, I was asking about the day 1, and they're figuring out, like, they said this was the hardest encounter to figure out, just because there's so many things going on at once and 6 people yelling at each other. You know, it's really hard to figure something like that out. All right, so there they've shot the first pole. So now they have to do this 2 more times, and if they whiff it again, they all die, and then they have to restart the whole encounter. I will unmute for 1 second.
We don't die if we get it wrong. We just have to retry again a couple times. Okay. It's only if the pole fills up when we die.
Yeah.
Which, if we get it wrong, the pole fills up a little bit more.
There you can see Shock up top being the sniper. He's focusing down a lot of the beefier targets, while Kirk is running around going into the rooms, finding some of the symbols. Shock will also go find some of the symbols, but he's mainly, like he said earlier, the support class. So he's just making sure everybody has enough damage. So very specifically what the callouts mean is one calls out a specific spawn, one is the room you go into, and one is the side of the room. If you'll see on Shock's screen, there's a light and a dark side of the room, so they know that it's the dark side of the room, and then he checks the symbol real quick and leaves. So it's it's so difficult to commentate this because I can hear them just continuously talking and saying what they're doing, which is like super interesting because these types of callouts, especially for 6-person speedruns, are really, really difficult to do. You know, it's all 6 of them not only coordinating and working well together, but they also have to memorize those 27 symbols and also make sure that they all have memorized the same number of symbols or the same call out. So if they whiff, then they have to try again.
All right, so now I'm done with this section of the encounter. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to leave. Oops. Through a hole in the roof right here.
They finished the encounter.
Oops.
And they're...
I pressed the wrong mute button, my bad. So there's a hole in the roof right here, just conveniently, that I can leave through. So I'm going to go out of bounds to the next encounter while they finish up.
Yeah, so Shock is just doing a really complicated series of out of bounds here, where he's going to be essentially starting the next encounter early, but he can't actually start it yet until Kirk goes out of bounds and then hits a set of triggers early to allow Shock to start it.
Yeah, so we've now turned a 6-man encounter into a 4-man encounter because Kirk's going to be doing that shortly. Yeah, I can hear you. So there's a neat little platforming trick I can actually do right here. I can actually put on this thing called Mountaintop. We'll talk about this later. And I can grenade jump. Whoops, hold up. Let me say words correctly and do things correctly. I can Mountaintop jump like this, get some extra height, go into this wall, and blow myself up.
And when he blows himself up, this is actually going to spawn him. He's now at the next encounter. Early. The next encounter starts right here. Which Queen Tower Garden? Which Queen Tower Garden? Shoot all 9. Shoot all 9. You can cheese it. Shoot all 9. Yeah, just do all 9. Okay, so we're resetting on that. But well, that's why we've got some extra time on the estimate for.
Yeah. It gets a little chaotic when Kirk and I leave because, like, normally you have one person running around picking up the symbols and you have one person defending the pole. It gets to the point where, like, one person starts having to do 2 jobs at once. And when certain enemies shoot the tower or shoot those things in the middle, they fill up faster. So it gets a little complicated with like all the stuff you have to manage when it turns into a 4-person encounter. In this case, I need to put this back on. Okay, let's go.
So this is part of why the estimate is so long. Their PB for this raid is something like 34 minutes. It's
34.
It's incredibly fast. But for things like that where 2 of the 6 people leaving, that's a pretty significant, loss of player base. So
Traveler side?
They make it really hard on themselves by doing the out of bounds for that skip. One of the ways they described this raid to me was the encounters are pretty straightforward. At least in terms of just getting between things. But the difficulty comes in getting between the encounters really fast. So you saw earlier that they use their sparrows to move really fast, and then here they're gonna, Shock and Kirk gonna go out of bounds. So someone's mentioning a cheese for the pillars. I don't exactly know, but I'm willing to bet
So,
that
there's
because of
a-
how Destiny works, if you just shoot all of them at once, the game just registers it as
there's a
you got
buffer.
the correct one somehow.
There's a buffer that you can shoot them all and it will still work.
Yeah. Because I remember
Earth Witch Queen Worm.
some glitch. I remember a cheese like that in Leviathan.
Actually, I just realized I didn't mention the sword. Usually the theme was like sci-fi swords and stuff. We're using this specific sword from the 30th anniversary event that released in December. It has this perk called Eager Edge, where if you pull it out, within like a 1 to 2 second window, if you slash your sword like this, you get increased lunge distance. What side, sorry? I'm looking. Yeah, so you get increased lunge distance, and we can just turn that into speed.
So yeah, I've talked about this before. I'll just re-mention it for anybody new coming in. So this is the latest Destiny 2 raid that came out, and in this encounter, they're calling out using the 27 symbols that are under Trader Kirk's name in order to figure out where to go, where to look, and what enemy to shoot on which side of the room. So it's really complicated. And part of the reason they wiped on this encounter was they made it way harder because 2 of them are going to leave to go out of bounds. All right, so they've now gotten 2 poles. So now Shock and Kirk are going to be abandoning, or not really abandoning. They're going to be leaving
I'll leave.
after a little bit and go out of bounds.
I'll leave after the first night dies. That's just because I have a long way to go. Kirk's going to stay here just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
He's got more time to help out. The S is 3. I see the night.
Yeah, so this is when the difficulty really starts ramping up. Yeah, so Shock goes out of bounds through a hole, and because of how Destiny platforming works, he's just going to be jumping around between a bunch of platforms that extend out of bounds, and then he's going to start, quote unquote, the next encounter early.
Extends under the floor here, which is why this is possible. So, yeah. Oh, there we go. I got up there. So, yeah. Then now that I'm here, I'll put on Mountaintop, and I'll give myself a little boost.
Right, so Shock's mountaintop jumping, gotten up here, blows himself up on the wall, and then
I'll spawn in back in bounds, because the
Boom.
game thinks I'm inside this little room here, but I'm actually not. So the default spawn location when you die in that room is over there.
So now if you look on the right at Kirk's screen, he's doing roughly the same thing that Shock did, but he's going to take a little bit of a different path. So Shock's at the next encounter, but
Yep.
it can't actually start yet. There's a couple triggers that you have to hit in the corridors in between to let the encounter actually start. And so that's what Kirk is going to hit right now.
So Kirk's over there hitting that one trigger. I'm waiting for this white circle on the floor to let me know it's ready to go. And once it starts, Yeah, so Kirk just got through the load zone. And once the white circle shows up, I know the encounter started. Technically, it is faster to not wipe like this. Wipe just means everyone dies and we're going to reset back to square one. It is faster to not do that, but for consistency's sake, we're just going to go ahead and take like 20 to 30 seconds. We're all going to die, and then we're going to plant this thing. I didn't explain it just to make sure people who don't play Destiny know what I'm doing. At the beginning of every encounter, you can plant what's called a rally flag, and when you go to that rally flag and you interact with it, you get full ammo and full ability energy, including your super. So we're just wiping to make sure everyone gets full everything for this boss fight. Now, Caretaker. Yeah,
so I helped explain the first encounter, but from here, Shock's going to take over until at least the fourth encounter, and then I'll help with that one, because that one can also be pretty complicated. This one is pretty easy.
This one's pretty simple, yeah. So there's, again, 3 teams of 2. So this is the rally flag. You just touch it to get ammo. But there's 3 teams of 2. One team is doing ad clear, one team is stunning the boss, and one team is doing what I'm doing, which is collecting symbols. I didn't see the first symbol. I hope it... Oh, I know what it is. We're collecting these symbols and we're putting them in the obelisk here. There's 9 symbols in the room. We need to put all the symbols in this obelisk in order to get to the damage phase of the boss. So Kirk's in here collecting 3 more. I'm going to go hop in and grab 3 more. One team is stunning the boss to give us more time to collect symbols. Looks like I got unlucky on symbol placement. That kind of sucks. I don't see the 3rd symbol, Kirk. You need to come in. I don't know where it is. Oh, I see it. I just got him. Go. All right, so now that we've dunked all 9 symbols, I also can't see. That's just part of this encounter. All right, ammo on me. I'm gonna go ahead and generate ammo for the team for later because we're using a lot of ammo for this encounter. Now, damage phase of the boss is pretty simple. We can only do damage standing on these plates when they turn on. We can also are health gated to a third of his health. So you can. I can't see it on my screen. I hope Kirk can see it, but there's a little threshold telling us how long we have to do damage. It's fine. All right, go ahead and move early. So we're doing damage on these plates, and the one mechanic is once you hit that damage threshold of a third, you have 4 seconds to do burst damage like that. That was pretty okay. We can still make it up with the second floor. But you get 4 seconds after you hit that threshold to do as much damage as you physically can. We're doing that so we can skip a floor. This is normally a 3-part fight. You get 3 floors, 3 floors to do damage, and that's why they cap it at a third. But we're trying to skip a floor, so we're using that 4-second window to just throw as much burst damage as we physically can. But in general, that's the Caretaker fight. Heart Ascendant. And kill. Okay. Saying them to myself because I'm going to forget them eventually. So Kirk couldn't find the last one. There is a little bit of weirdness with the symbol spawns. I can't. It's all the way in the back left. I see it. We got that last one.
Yeah, so right now they're just calling out where the boss is going to wind up because they got
more ammo here on
again stun him. They're trying to skip this phase. They're trying to skip the 3rd phase. So
yeah, we should have enough room to get this skip. It's not necessarily like super strict, but it is a little tight with how much stuff we have to do. Gotta make sure we kill all this stuff because it will kill us. Right. I have no nade to heal right now. Get ready on the fade. All right, get ready. Now? Okay, we got it. Yeah, we got it. Cool. All right, skipped a floor. Do we have enough reses for that? Everyone got a res for that? Okay, get it. All right, so now we skipped a floor. So you can see that last chunk, that was like divided at the start. You're not able to do that damage. The moment you hit that threshold, you're cut off. There's no more damage you can do. But then it will send you to final stand up here. So we would normally do this floor in a regular run. We're skipping that here. So this is a little bit of time save that we have. And final stand works exactly like a normal damage phase. When the plate's active, you can step on it and do damage. And you only have these 3 plates. If you can't kill them in 3 plates, then you're done. So here I'm just planting a giant, like, mega circle that's going to heal and give her 1 damage. This is a safety circle. Alright, that Caretaker's dead. You can see Kirk's not with us. Kirk left. He is actually going ahead and skipping the platforming section, and we're all going to leave. So you should watch Kirk's screen for this section. After Caretaker is the classic Bungie raid platforming section. They like to put these in every raid. There's one every time. But there's normally, or in this raid, there's a specific part where they actually require everyone in your fire team to be at the door to open it. Fortunately, it doesn't care how big your fire team is. So if it's a fire team of 1, you only need that 1 person near the door. So we have everyone leave, go to orbit, just re-rally in their own separate group. And then when Kirk is done doing all of the platforming and stuff by himself, he's going to go ahead and just open that door, get to the 3rd encounter, and we'll just basically teleport forward.
Yeah, I like the way I have it described in my notes that I was taking while I was watching you guys, which is Kirk goes out of bounds to skip ahead. Everyone leaves because it's an all players required door. And if Kirk is all the players, well, there you go.
That's true. That is how that works. So, yeah, at this point, we just wait. But normally, this platforming section is actually pretty difficult. It's one of the tougher ones that they've made. There's a lot of really tight angles and like slopes walls that basically you'll bounce your head off and like fly off. So like a lot of like normal runs, people will just fall off and die because it's easy to. Okay. But while we have a second here, I'll go ahead and I'll start explaining the 3rd encounter because that one's also, it's not super complex. It'll hopefully make sense once you start seeing us do it. Tell me when to join. So the next encounter is, it got a couple things going on. It's got 3, what we're calling relics, 3 things that we're going to pick up. It has the Darkness Shard, which shoots a giant laser beam. That's used to kill a knight that has a shield on it, a white little aura. The second thing is if you've done Vault of Glass, which is a different raid, that shield from that raid is also in here. That is used to help cleanse a debuff that we're getting throughout the entire encounter. Basically, every 30 seconds, like less than that, we need to get cleansed. Otherwise, we will die. So the shield is used to get rid of that. The third thing is this Taken Ball. There's these little orbs that will spawn in different rooms, and that Taken Ball, when it goes up to it, it can get rid of that. Because if you don't get rid of that Taken Ball, those enemies will be immune to damage. So you have to get rid of that in order to kill the enemies to move forward. So those are the 3 relics. But what we're doing in each room is we're trying to find a set of symbols, and we're trying to find the match between them, and we're going to try to shoot them on the door. The door has 6 symbols next to the door. We have to find the set of symbols, and we have to find the match between them, and then shoot it on the door. Each room, except for the first one, will have 2 sets, so we're finding 2 symbols to shoot both of them on the door. Hopefully all of you will understand that. I don't really have time to sort of explain it again, but hopefully this will make sense once you start seeing what we're doing.
Yeah, so like, actually, while you're waiting for everyone to spawn in, I just got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
So day 1, I imagine this wasn't as hard as the other encounters. Like, it definitely seems really hard.
Power.
But you've already seen the symbols at this point, so you know what's going on. And I assume you've used a lot of these buffs before in previous raids, or you know generally what they do.
Yeah, they generally like to reuse, once you're in the middle of the raid, they like to reuse mechanics or do something similar to you've already done. So like all of these things we've kind of done before. Pervading Darkness was in Caretaker's encounter. The Vogue Shield we've used before. Darkness Shard is in a different activity, and the Taken Ball is also in a different raid. So like nothing technically new. Where's first one? Okay. So right there, we killed the thing. It dropped symbols. We found the bunch between the 2, and we're waiting until we get the second set to figure out what is the next set of symbols.
Yeah, I definitely imagine something like this gets super overwhelming at first.
Square. So there you go. Shoot the symbols on the door to open the door, and then we're moving forward.
Yeah, but once you figure it out.
Yeah, this room will give us all 3. So this is where the Taken Orb is going to spawn. So I'm going to pick that up. So I'm going to do the Taken Orb job in this room. So you can see right here, there's this little orb that I'm going to go ahead and basically dispel away so we can actually kill all the enemies. And my job is to go around and kill all of these Taken Orbs in the arena.
Yeah. One of the things I was struck by when I watched y'all do this, day one, and then how it's changed until now, is that the amount of parkour that they're doing is like, I've played Destiny 2. It's not exactly the most friendly movement system in the world.
It's easy to fall, yeah.
You got to know a lot of the quirks for it. And them jumping all around like this is not the easiest thing in the world. Anytime they're floating over a void, which you can see below them, that's just a void. If they fall there, they die. That's definitely not the easiest thing to do. And by the end here, they just start dashing from platform to platform, cleansing each other, and it's pretty wild.
Worship Hive Tower. Hive. Square Hive. All right, so shot the ones on the door, and now I'm going to dunk this, and I'm going to leave them again. So this is now going to be a 5-person encounter. I'm actually going to go ahead and head to the next encounter early, because conveniently enough, there's another hole in the ceiling.
Yeah. This Out of Bounds, I think, is probably my favorite that you do.
It's pretty good. Yeah, so there's just a hole right here at the end of the room that I can just jump in like this. I can do another mountaintop jump like this. And I'm out of bounds.
And so, while this is going on, while Shock is just kind of, serenely floating through the void, the other 5 are still relentlessly calling things out. Because they still have to finish the encounter. Otherwise, like we saw earlier, they'll wipe, and all this progress forward that Shock made doesn't mean anything. And there's meant to be a bridge that spawns here that helps you get to the other side, but Shock doesn't need that. If you do your,
I have a specific super that lets me fly for a good distance.
Yeah, if you do your stuff right.
So I'm at the final boss now. And lucky enough, I can.
Oh, okay, they're good.
All right, cool. I think that'll work.
Actually, so people were asking earlier if they were going to do the challenge for the day. They're saying that they would have had the challenge there if they hadn't whiffed right at the end there. So
I'm waiting for that.
You can still absolutely do that.
Oh, it put me all the way back here. That's unfortunate. All right, move forward. But normally when I die there, I can still sort of make this work. Normally when I die there, I would stay over on that side. I have to go around it. Sorry. I would stay in that bubble and I would respawn and immediately start the encounter. But sometimes, just due to how the spawn system works, it'll put you backwards to a safe spot. It's, you can manipulate it in a lot of ways, but just unfortunately there, it just put me back over here, which is not where I want to be. I want to be all the way over there by the boss. And Scoob's actually going to do a backup thing here with Titan. This thing has been known for a while with Titan sword flying. You can just grab a sword and basically just cross any gap that you want to.
I just love the bumping.
Yeah, so they're just going to cross it, and then they're going to touch the bubble, which starts the encounter. And we're doing the same thing we did with Caretaker, where we're going to all die, teleport everyone forward, and drop a rally flag.
I wish one of the perspectives we had was on a Titan, because seeing the Thunder Crash aiming is really cool. But
yeah, it's a little.
It's disorienting.
It's got the anime lines too, the really focused anime lines when you're doing it. So it's pretty fun.
All right, so this encounter is fairly complicated at first, and then it turns into an all-out DPS check.
Yeah.
So
Rally up. Good.
Again, they're going to be dealing with the symbols here.
So we have.
This is another 3 teams of 2 thing. So you can see Shockwave on the left shooting a crystal. That's going to give him a buff called Leeching Force. The other two teams, which is Bystander Tim and Scooby Foo, are going to be shooting the other crystal, and they also get Leeching Force. And they're going to get hit by that big laser beam, which will turn into Emanating Force. And then Trader Kirk and Tokigi are going to be calling out which... Yeah, so you can... I can hear it right now. Kirk is calling out the symbols, and so they're dunking it into the pillars. They have to do that 3 times to shrink Rolk's shield, and that puts him farther and farther back. So they're going to keep... so right now it's just Shockwave and Munch Koopas standing on plate, shooting crystals to refresh their buff. And they're going to keep... Yep, there you go, another laser hit. They've gotten Emanating Force. They're going to dunk it into the pillars. So that's number 2 out of 3.
It's all about like sort of repetition. You do the same thing 3 times.
Yep.
It's not complicated once you figure it out. It's just figuring out how that works. Ooh, watch out.
This seems extremely fast, and it is. They're doing this really fast.
Yeah, lucky enough there's a fast cadence you can get into. There actually is sort of a nice little fun thing you can do for speed. If you get into a nice rhythm, you can speed it up by doing like a fast cycle, but it's not the end of the world. It is pretty lenient with like how much time you have to do stuff. But it's nice to feel rewarded for doing something fast. Get ready on the shield.
Exactly.
All right, so similar things
here's the
happen up here
DPS
as
check.
well.
Yeah. This is
So we're just prepping for damage now. We're getting him weak so we can do damage. So I'm gonna shoot this stick. It's gonna drop a symbol that I can't see. Okay, it's gonna drop a stick. It's a symbol I can't see. They're gonna tell me which symbol it is, and then I'm gonna go dunk it once I have Emanating Force. So right there, you can see a symbol dropped. I can't see his shoulder. Ammo on me, 1.
So Shockwave has it's similar to Glory Kills in Doom thing set up, where you'll see him take an enemy into the the kill zone, and he hits them and they drop ammo, and that drops ammo for everybody in the fire team. So that makes sure everybody's full ammo for
3. Okay. All right. Yeah. So once we dunk those, like a weak spot gets exposed.
Here we go.
Bring them to the middle.
This is going to be the DPS check.
This could be.
So they have to 1 phase Rolk, do all of his damage in 1 hit, or all of his HP in 1 weakness phase. Otherwise, they lose 4 minutes.
All right, get ready.
So here they go. They're setting up really precisely.
Yeah. So I'm Divinity, and they're in a well with a specific damage setup to just try to do it as quick as possible.
Yeah, they're swapping between shotguns and rocket launchers to avoid the fire rate cap that's inherent to those. Well, if they were just shooting like a gun normally, they wouldn't be able to do it. But
it's up.
They're absolutely breaking the fire rate cap by going far too fast. Easy, just no stress at all.
It's up.
So now they have to kill him before their pervading darkness stacks get too high.
Time.
And that's
by the way,
time.
That's time. Nice.
Yeah, that was a really, really good run.
That was a clean 1 phase kill.
Yeah. That was sub 40, which clean.
That's fine. We're kind of slapping this thing together in a couple weeks. It's pretty okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, what I really wanted to showcase with this is like, what can people figure out within a month?
Yeah, what normal groups are doing probably in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, we're doing in 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I think what's that website that tells you the average like completion time?
Raid.report.
Yeah, I went and checked that, and the average time is like an hour and a half. So, they did this about 2 or 3 times as fast as like normal people do this raid.
So, just as so we didn't really mention it before in terms of the DPS setup. I just want to show this because we're actually going to use this in the next run as well. We're using two slug shotguns. They don't shoot pellets; they shoot a single like high damage pellet. We're using 2 of them with a rocket launcher with this setup, and then Titans have this little chest piece that makes their super do more damage. So we're using all 3 weapons to pump as much damage as possible. We're going to be using that a lot in the next run. I just wanted to make sure to show that now before we got started.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Valid Disciple. That's most of what's been found in the past like month or so. There's probably more to. Oh, hold up. I'll join in the meeting. Hold up. All right.
So so that's Valid Disciple. We're gonna be taking a short break before we switch over to the next run, which is the Grasp of Avarice showcase, which is one of the newer dungeons. But before we go, just wanted to give a couple quick routine things. GDQ will be at PAX East 2022, April 21st to April 24th. If you're interested in submitting a run, !PAX in Twitch chat, PAX, and fill out the form. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to watch back that run, or if you want to watch back the Paper Mario randomizer that was going on before this, come over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you want to see live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And to check out some cool things, you can see GDQ Highlights, or Games Done Quick Highlights, which is a channel that features highlights of the HotFix shows, the one-off shows that we have, ! Highlights command. We'll let you learn more about that. And final thing, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, any Prime gamers, and bits help support this weekly HotFix content. So please feel free to sub if you want to support this daily content. If you like these HotFix shows, or if you just want to hear the video game music in the break screen. But with that said, we're going to go to a quick break and come back with the Grasp of Avarice showcase. All right, everybody, welcome back. Quick break, and we're on to the next one. Now we've got Grasp of Avarice, which I believe is a dungeon that came out in December.
Yes.
So, again, we have Shockwave, Bystander Tim, and Munch Koopas here to show it off. So this one's going to be a lot faster paced. So, hang on, and here we go.
This will be done relatively quickly in about 15 or 20 minutes. Dungeons are much shorter than raids. Dungeons are typically 3 encounters, not 4, 4 or more. They're also much simpler than a raid. You can think of them as sort of like a mini raid, because they're trying to get smaller groups of people to do them, and they're also trying not to make them complex, but also give you some sort of mechanic like a raid to do. But right off the bat, we're split into 2 Warlocks and 1 Titan. 1 Titan for some burst damage, 2 Warlocks for some out-of-bounds goodness. There's some really good out-of-bounds in this raid, or this dungeon, actually. I'll be doing it all basically right off the bat.
Let me put on my sword, hold on.
The second and third encounters will mostly be done intentionally, but the first one, I'm going to be skipping a huge section of the game. But we'll go ahead and get started once this thing loads in. Once our characters pop in on screen, that'll start the timer, just like with the raid. But I guess I'll go ahead and I'll just go ahead and explain the mechanic now while we're waiting, just because you can watch Tim do it. It should be somewhere over there, the top right of your screen. I don't know why I'm trying to point, but the mechanic is, there's 2 mechanics. The first one will be introduced right here at the start. They like to introduce mechanics in a kind of safe way for you to understand what you're doing, and then apply them in a stressful situation. So the first mechanic is going to be actually no. Let's get to this point. The theming first. This is a pirate dungeon, pirate themed. Loot caves and stuff. This is based off of a meme from Destiny 1. So there was a nice little bug. You should watch Tim for the encounter stuff, and for me for the out-of-bounds stuff. But enemies will drop fake exotic engrams. You need to pick them up and dunk them at a crystal. That is the mechanic. Once you dunk enough in the crystal will then do its thing, and then you can move on.
It's gonna be a lot of screen pollution.
So for me, I'm out of bounds already. There's just a convenient hole right at the beginning of the map that I can just squeeze through. So I am gonna go ahead and basically work my way towards the first encounter. There's a couple triggers that need to get hit in a specific order. Munch is gonna work on hitting the other one that I need, whereas I'm gonna just keep going forward like this. So there's a nice little load transition that hopefully doesn't kill me. Cool, we're good. But yeah, I'm still out of bounds. I will be out of bounds until we get to the first boss. But Tim is just killing a bunch of enemies, picking up their fake loot, and then dunking them in the crystal. until the door opens. Right there. There you go. Good. Now I'm gonna wait here. I need to wait for a specific trigger to hit, so that way everything I do will count. This is a sequence of events. I have to hit things in a certain order, and Munch is basically going to be starting the sequence for me. But yeah, the whole theme of this dungeon, when Destiny 1 launched, there was a bug where Tim was standing in the original Cosmodrome where enemies would spawn and it would just, everyone would just farm their loot there because it was the best way to do it. So people referred to it as the loot cave. And the Destiny 30th anniversary event, or Bungie 30th anniversary event, was kind of a celebration of just their entire legacy, and they decided to make the dungeon based off of that meme being the loot cave. And they decided to make it more pirate themed to add the flair to it.
I'll fully admit I did it in the original
yet.
Destiny.
It's all fine. Yeah. Oh shit. I'll be fine. I don't have my grenade, so it'll be a little weird on the platforming. Normally I have my grenade so I can sort of float around, but I don't have it right now. It's not the end of the world. Just means I have to do platforming a little bit differently. Whoops. There we go. Let's step on that first. Cool. Yeah, I'm just hitting specific points. I stood on that tunnel there because that was another trigger that I needed to hit. There's just a tunnel. You can see the enemies spawn in there. That's the first spot. Now I'm just gonna work my way up here. Maps look very weird when you're out of bounds. There's a lot of weird rendering that happens when you're doing this. So I need to go here. I need my grenade back. I have the wrong bond though. That's not a big deal. I'm gonna wait for my grenade so I can float. So with this subclass, I can actually consume my grenade and basically get a bunch of fire under my feet, which lets me float, but it makes my jump. Yeah, floaty. That's just the best word I can think of right now. I get to float around. My jump lasts longer. I get to move around with it more. The boss is spawned, but I need to get inbounds in a second. So there's a really thin wall I can get between right here, like this. You can sort of see how thin it is that I'm going around. And then I can work my way towards this little thing of land, blow myself up, walk backwards. I missed the wipe. But I'm gonna walk backwards. They're gonna teleport forward. Now they're in the boss. And we're just gonna simply wipe, as we said, reset the whole thing. There's a rally flag behind us that we're gonna spawn at, and we're gonna get all our ammo. But yeah, that's my fun. I get to be out of bounds, and now I'm switching to. Oh, just swap that. All right, so we're using 2 slug shotguns and a rocket launcher. You good? Okay, I'm gonna shoot a free rocket there to kill an enemy that we need. But we're using 2 slug shotguns and a rocket. The only difference between the raid and what we're doing now is my subclass. I am on a void subclass. That is so I get a debuff with my rift, and my grenade also gives a debuff. So since we only have 3 people, using divinity isn't worth it. The math just doesn't work out. So instead, I'm going to use my grenade and my rift to give us some smaller debuffs, but it's better than having nothing. So here, we're just killing enemies, we're grabbing loot. Same thing. The only difference is now with this mechanic with the cannon, there's these little, let's call them switches. These switches can only be activated by this cannon, and once you charge up this cannon enough, it will open the door, and you can start killing the enemies. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I skipped the part that teaches you that. Tim just said that, but you all couldn't hear it. So, another thing to note is collecting 10 of these fake loot items will actually give you all of your abilities back. So it's actually kind of neat that they let you spam abilities. I'm going to leave this here for you, Muncha. Cool. All right, so I have this little buddy next to me, next to my head. He's going to be the thing that's giving debuffs. Now we're going to use 2 slug shotguns like this, swapping back between them. And just going to kill him, in one phase. Like that. Boom, he's dead. Easy peasy. And now I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. Not out of bounds. I'm gonna stay inbounds this time. But I'm gonna go ahead and just move forward and get to the next part. I just realized I didn't say this ahead of time to Tech, but Tech, you might actually want to bump the music for this section just for a little bit. It's pretty good.
I was just say a little bit of a banger alert.
It's the pirate song. Yeah, GDQ tunes in the chat. So here's a Sparrow section. It's really simple. It's just drive to the mine before it blows up and then sit in the mine to defuse it. I'm actually going to refresh my Sparrow because it's about to blow up. So this is just a Sparrow driving section. If you've played Halo 1, you can sort of think of the ending level of Halo 1 just like this. You're on a vehicle driving to the end, because if you don't get to the end, you're going to explode.
Yeah, people in chat were calling this very similar to like the Warthog run.
Yep, very similar to that. So there's these little switches, you probably just saw it right there. I can extend the timer of the mines. Technically not required, but it is very hard if you don't hit them. So you might as well just hit them on your way. I didn't mean to bonk off that. I should be fine though. I'm just gonna hit the other one. I'll be safe about it. Looks good. So there's actually another hidden button right up here. Cool. All right, that's the end of the Sparrow section. Hope you enjoyed your little sea shanty. Yeah, we'll call it that. Can't think of another word for it. Yar har, I'm pirate's life for me. But yes, now we're in the actual loot cave with all the crystals and stuff. But here the run's gonna slow down a lot. Unfortunately, there's not really much you can do to speed this up. Basically, there's this giant thing blocking our way. You can see the little red lines on the middle with that orange shield. We need to blow those up in order to move forward. It's left top. I'm going there. Yeah, so there's these little mines that we have to blow up. You can see on the bottom, Fallen Shield is the boss, quote unquote. It's an inanimate object, but it has a health bar. It is attached to an enemy out of bounds. That is something they like to do now. They like to basically take an enemy, put it out of bounds, and then attach a health bar to it for the actual encounter. So here, it's the same thing just like we did with the Ogre boss. It's kill the dudes, grab their fake loot, and then dunk the fake loot. There's only one thing that's been added to it. We're actually going to be pirates and launch cannons. You'll see what I mean in a second when we get there. But we need 20 of these fake loot items before we can actually be pirates. Oh, it's the captain. Okay, captain gives me more fake loot. Whoa! All right, you just saw Eager Edge in action there. It does a lot of weird stuff. I have 13. How much do you have? 9? Dunk. All right, so we have 20. We're gonna dunk this. Then the servitor is gonna work his way over here. All right, cool. Now it's dead. Now we have a cannonball. No, don't go this way. These are not fun to work with, let me tell you. We're just gonna play this safe because it's so easy to lose this, and you lose a minute every time you lose a cannonball. Check dogs. All right, so we're setting up the cannonball. Fire away, matey. Yar har! All right, there's one. It's above you, one up, it's right top. All right, so actually I get to use that that whole collecting 10 fake loot thing. I get my super back, so now I can actually fly across the map. So it's actually convenient for the speedrun that I get to do this. So we're just trying to split up to cover as much ground as possible. There's really not a whole lot we can do here. I will just, like, I guess, note for a fun speedrun, you know, history thing about this, because this did actually used to be like a 30-second encounter. You used to be able to get out of bounds, and you could find the box. It's over there somewhere beyond that wall. You could find the box that the enemy was in, and you could actually, like, throw a super at it, and you could kill the enemy and end the encounter immediately, so you could skip all of this stuff that we're doing. They have since patched that, and you can't do it anymore. You're good. I've got 12. I lied. Now I have 13. Done. All right, cool. There's the second one. So we need to do this 4 times. There's not really much we can do, like, besides just kill these things 4 times. Muncha is over there in probably just like the best vantage point that we can get, just to try to find the thing as quick as possible, because the next one spawns the moment this one dies. We can can move our cannonball. All right, chat. Another cannonball coming at. Shit, where did it go? Where? Why did it go over there? What the? All right. All right, ball physics. Did you find the thing? Is it up top? Okay, I'm gonna keep pushing, Tim, if you want to get the thing. All right. Yep. And I'm being as careful as I can. These things are not fun to push. There is a little channel in the ground that they sort of carved out for these things. The plate's also magnetic, so it will stick to it once it starts touching it. All right. All right, 2's done. I'm gonna head here. Tim's gonna get to a better spot. Oh. I should be fine. Yeah, I'm fine. That was scary. Almost didn't have enough height. Loadout here is not really specific. It's just kind of like whatever you can kill ads the quickest with. I am using actually a weapon from the raid that we just did. This weapon has a perk called Chain Reaction, where if I kill an enemy, they explode. And if that enemy dies, or if another enemy dies from that explosion, that enemy will also explode. So you can just keep exploding things, and it's a lot of fun. I have 11. Found 8, go get one. There's one over here. Oh, we got it. Tim, next one. Where's the dude? Doc. Oh, he's actually conveniently placed right now. I am on my way over, Tim. Again, I just get like tons of supers, so I can just cross these gaps basically as quick as I want. Fortunately, just have just enough super to literally make it across the entire thing. Did you forget to dunk? That's fine. Yeah. There's been some networking fun with that lately. It won't take away all of your burden of riches, which is that debuff we're getting when we pick these things up. It won't take them all away at the end. Sometimes it just like lags for a second and it doesn't take the last one away, so it will kill you. It happens. It's happened to me in a lot of our practice runs. All right, where's Servitor? There he is. I got the ball. Left to me. What the? He just teleported. Chat, you saw that. That teleported. What was that? Space pirates, man. All right, Munch, you should instant respawn when this blows up, though. Oh, no, aim it first. Cool. All right, final cannonball off. You want to get the Scorch Cannon and get ready to fire it whenever you're... you can shoot it from there. I'm ready. All right, so that's Fallen Shield. That's the second encounter. That's by far the longest one. But now we're up to the final boss. Everything we've been doing before in terms of mechanics is going to come back. The fake loot is coming back. The shooting the switch to open stuff is coming back. And the 2 shotguns and a rocket launcher is also coming back. So I am in here to start this early because we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to start this early and then I'm going to fall off and die. Fall off and die, and then we're going to bring them forward. And I'm going to go on the same loadout I was on before. Oh, cool. I actually brought you forward. Nice. If I don't die quick enough, this screen doesn't come up, which then means that they have to spend another couple seconds just walking off. All right, cool. We good? Yeah, we're good. All right. So here right off the bat, just because we get our supers for free with all the stuff, we're gonna go ahead and just kill these 2 guys right off the bat. They are annoying. They're not mandatory to kill. They're just annoying, but they will cause problems. It's not always they cause problems, but it can get in the way. All right, I'm ready. So the difference here with what the switches do is these switches, once activated, will drop the fake loot. Once we get 60 of those, we can damage the boss. And similar thing, once I grab all 10 of these, you'll see my super immediately fills up, so we have supers for boss damage. All right, so once we get this, that we'll each have 20. There's 3 platforms, conveniently 1 for each team member. Each time you drop a thing, it drops 10, so 2 sets will drop you 20. And at this point, we're just waiting to dunk all these things so that we can do damage. But he'll teleport to this spot over here. All right, well forward. Oh no, Lich. It's the child is still attached to him somehow? Okay. Forward. Grenades on. Let's go. There we go. Time. That is
easy.
That is actually a very tight kill. It's pretty easy to miss the one phase on that. We probably had less than a second of leeway to get that kill. So that's Grasp of Avarice. That is the newest dungeon that Bungie released. It's a lot less broken than it was before, but it's still pretty fun, especially at the beginning with the out of bounds. It's really just like the Fallen Shield where you're shooting cannonballs. That kind of takes a while, but hey, it's still pretty fun. Oh, yeah. There we go. No, but that should be it from the Destiny crew. Like I say, if anything else, Amy?
I just thank y'all so much for, being willing to showcase. Just tap back into your stream. Thank y'all so much for being, willing to showcase this and Vow of the Disciple on, relatively short notice. I mean, Vow just came out last month. That's pretty incredible that, you're able to put all this together that fast. And I imagine it's only going to get faster. So, yeah, thank y'all for coming on. Just a couple quick things before we go to break. If you missed this run, if you missed the Vow of the Disciple run, if you missed the Paper Mario randomizer run before this, they are all on YouTube at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And if you're on YouTube watching this and you want to check out this live, then check us out at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern and every weekend at 1 p.m. Eastern. And like I said, we're just going to go to a quick break. If you want to support the HotFix shows, if you want to support AIMBOT and Mercy Kill, and that's never happened before, and you're legally cute, awfully silly, all of the HotFix shows that we have, please consider subscribing, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, etc. That all helps support the weekly HotFix content. So we're going to go to a quick break, and we're going to go and then to Ghostrunner by Blade. All right, welcome back, everyone. We got the final run of the night here. Like I said earlier, this is a run I'm super excited about. The movement system is always really intriguing for this game, and people who are good at it are kind of a mystery to me because, man, I cannot think this fast. But yeah, we've got Blade LMAO with Ghostrunner. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Blade LMAO. This is Ghostrunner. On commentary, I have Bladen. Also Brian Otto.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me. I didn't know you pronounced the Lamau and Lamau, or I thought it was just
LMAO. No, I like to say Lamau. I think it sounds nice. So this is Ghostrunner. The category we'll be running today is any percent inbounds. Any percent, there's going to be lots of enemies in this game, right? And a lot of them can be skipped, so this isn't like all kills or anything. And inbounds, opposite of out of bounds, we're just gonna kind of stay in the intended route of the game. There's gonna be a quick cutscene here first. Timer will start when we gain control of our character. The first level is a nice little showcase and tutorial of all the different moves that we'll be performing to make up the main movement tech of this game. Yeah, walking is pretty slow, so that's the last thing we're gonna be doing. So 3, 2, 1, and start. So first we got our slide hop here. It's just a slide and a jump. You can slide off of ledges to get a little speed boost, and then you can jump pretty well off the ledge, and you get to keep a lot of that momentum from the slide. There's also wall running you saw for a second there. We also get our dash now. There's a little bit of a difference between the ground dash and the air dash. The ground dash is signified by the little thing on our crosshair. The air dash can be performed in the air. It can be used to hold and slow down time and move left to right to dodge enemies. And the air dash can go wherever your crosshair is pointing. Right? So the ground dash can be paired with the slide, and it can also be paired with the jump to make our main tech, the dash slide jump. You pair the dash slide jump, or the DSJ, with a ledge boost, and you get a super DSJ. And the super DSJ is just a little bit faster than the normal dash slide jump, except you go much
the first
further.
level, by the way.
Yeah, that is the first level.
Already to the first
We are
level.
already to the next level.
So yeah,
You're gonna see.
DSJ.
Oh, go ahead, Clayton.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like DSJ is like the bread and butter for this game. That's like the main move tech. We basically use it just anywhere where we have our dash, and that's just gonna fling us all over the place. It's like the fastest way to get around, basically.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple piece of tech too. The timing on it is really, really lenient. Yeah, I mean, it really is like you can. Yeah, it really is as simple as a dash, slide, jump. I mean, you just do those in order within a pretty light window, and you get it pretty much every time. It's extremely versatile. And yeah, you'll see it everywhere here.
So right here, this is like the first kind of cutscene. A lot of the cutscenes in the game can't be skipped, but there's a few that will try to menu to back out of the level before a cutscene skips. But this one we're just gonna tank it. This is the voice we were hearing. He's gonna kind of push us through the game, introduce us to some abilities and upgrades that we're gonna be used to get through the game. This level is the Cyber Void. It's meant to be a little bit of a break in the game. So they get rid of your dash. So all we have is our slide hop and hopefully really good ledge boosts, but they can be pretty tricky to get. I'm sure you guys know.
A ledge boost is, once again, he is doing a slide right as he goes off a ledge, and generally like all the friction that would normally kind of like slow down your slide is gone, and there's a ton of coyote time in this game, which is allowing us to go these long distances. So it's kind of funny that these levels were intended to be kind of like a break in all the action in terms of like casual gameplay, but in the speed run they're called the Cyber Voids. These are like some of the hardest levels in the whole run because your skill set is so limited. You don't have you can cover like a lot of mistakes in the game using the dash mechanic. So really when you just have, you're really just out there on your own, so the mistakes in these levels are always a lot more punishing.
For sure.
And coming up on a new tech here, Ghostrunner is one of those games where there's no like backward speed cap, so we're gonna be using that right here. We just kind of look backwards, hold the back key, and we kind of just fly across the air by tapping our S key or our back key, so we call that S tapping. And we're going to be abusing that whenever we can get a bunch of air times off these jump pads. So we see it a lot in these.
I love that one.
Here. Yeah.
My favorite one.
Got another big one coming up right here. If you do it really good and cross all the way to the ledge and fall straight off, we'll see
I think I might get that. Nice.
Ooh, nice. That's so clean.
Fall all the way to the bottom.
You love to see that.
This next level is going to start out really fast. We have grapples in the game. There's a little tech we can do called a GAT, or a grapple attack technique. So a normal grapple animation looks like this. You that was named by the devs. You kind of throw your hand out, grab the blue grapple, and zip yourself toward it. But if you swing as soon as you press the grapple button, you actually cancel that whole animation and get zipped toward it instantly instead of needing to take a little bit of time. It doesn't save.
I feel like a boomer. Back when I was running this game, we were just
fast
calling
grapples.
those grapples, instant grapples. Calling them GATs now?
Yeah. They said
Like
that.
reacting to the speedrun, and they're like, "Oh, this is like the grapple attack technique."
Yeah, so we just went with it. We thought it was funny. This level in my splits are called the GAT.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, a GAT, I guess as it's called now, it doesn't save a ton of time on its own. I don't know if you guys have exact numbers on it, but I always estimated roughly, maybe like a quarter of a second. But you do it like 50, 60 times in a run. That time adds up pretty quick. And it looks cool.
We can also do something called wall climbing. Since your air dash goes higher, you can kind of wall run, jump off the wall, and then dash back onto the wall just a little bit higher, like that. It can be used to get up to platforms as well as reach some grapples that are a little bit hard to get. Like this. Nice, and that saves going a little bit out of your way there.
That's really cool. Yeah, this the wall mechanics in this game are different from, let's say if you're used to something like Titanfall, where, after you touch a wall, there's kind of like a rule set you have to follow before you can touch again. You can really just infinitely climb up any wall you can walk on just by jump dash, jump dash, jump dash.
It wasn't like that in the demo, but they made it like that in the actual game.
Is where we'll find the means to fight our
Yeah, it's just a little puzzle. The cyber voids are, well, this one in particular is kind of slow. We just gotta wait for these things to go across. You can only press one at a time. Yes, it gets very cool. You guys want to talk about Blink?
So in this next cyber void, we get introduced to our Blink ability. It does exactly what you think it does. It blinks forward. It's kind of like a bigger dash, if you will. There's a neat little tech we can do if we jump after the blink. We actually kind of keep speed and get launched up a little bit here. Can we do one right here, maybe? Oh, missed it. That's still fine, though. You can also do it off of ledge boost and keep speed that way as well. Coming up here, ledge boost, blink, just like
that's how that works. Oh, that's cool.
And then Blade's gonna pull up his menu here, and that's super crucial because the game thinks that menu's still open. So when we're playing and jumping around here, we're actually hitting accept on a bunch of tutorial dialogues in the background.
And it is a glitch, so I did not get it. Usually you can skip all this. It's a little bit finicky, but that's fine. We can just tank that and put on our upgrade abilities. The two upgrades we just put on is our double dash. You can see our crosshair now has two little bars on each side. Those are two of my ground dashes. And this allows us to do a tech called a AGD, or an air ground dash. It looks like this. So you can see we're in the air, but we just used 3 of our dashes. That's because we kept holding crouch midair, and that instead of using an air dash, we used our ground dash, and it gives us a lot of horizontal momentum, a lot more than vertical with like a normal air dash would. And we're gonna do a very cool strat with it here. 1, 2.
Here we go. This strat is insane.
That is the biggest S-tap in the game.
That looks so sick.
And I nailed it.
If you're wondering why...
I was nervous for that one.
That was really sick, dude. That was really, really good. I remember, the first time I saw that when Blaine did it at, what was it, GDQ a year or two ago?
Yeah,
oh my God.
It was crazy.
My mind was blown. If you're wondering why Blade is quitting to menu after every single level, it's an IGT strat. It's like slower RTA, but it does save a couple seconds IGT at the end of any level. It's like one of those kind of weird, like, slower RTA, but faster IGT strats that everybody hates.
So in the last level, we also put on a upgrade that allows us to reflect bullets, and it can be used to use their guns against them and snipe, just like I got sniped, snipe other enemies across the room, just like that.
Oh, it looks
Beautiful
so good!
strap.
That looks so good!
I love that.
That's so sick.
It's so sick.
You must have heard of them. Basically simplified versions of your own Cortex.
Yeah, we get introduced to the SMG guys in this level, so they're basically just a battery for like reflecting bullets constantly whenever you want to.
And you kind of have to, I mean, it's not free doing that either. You have to aim them, I would say like somewhat precisely.
Yeah.
And the timing on it can be a little bit difficult too. The bullets aren't traveling super fast, but you still like it's, a blade made it look easy. It is not as easy as that.
And we have this little shield ball here. You have to actually break that battery because some enemies are protected by some shields. But as you also saw in that room, my blink ability, and actually every ability in the game, will go through the enemies that are protected by any shield. So that's another really good use for our abilities. Moving on, here is my favorite level in the game. This whole beginning portion of the game, all these levels are like the underbelly of this big tower that we're climbing. This is the air filtering facility. And there's going to be lots of fans that are moving very fast. So to get through these very fast moving fans, we have these. They are called Cyber Void uplinks. We're just going to call them power-ups. These power-ups slow down time around you. They slow down these fans that can get through them, and they also slow down enemies. This guy up here literally is not going to notice us by the time we get to him. And so in the last level, we had some laser walls that we needed to go around because we would die if we touched them. there's a laser wall coming up here that is really cool because there's an enemy on the other side of it. And if we blink to that enemy, we can actually survive that laser wall and go right through it.
Yeah, and the deflect.
That's one of the swaggiest kill rooms in the whole game.
I love that room so much.
It's really good. But yeah, the power-ups in this level are generally designed to be kind of like a lock and key type system. A lot of the level gates are going to be these really fast-moving fans that we would otherwise die to. We have a couple ways around the fans. The first one we're going to see right here. Some of the fan geometry just doesn't like, or some of the hitbox like doesn't exist in a very specific spot, as you can see there. So that's a pretty neat skip that skips a really annoying portion casually, a little puzzle. And then we'll see an alternative one that is coming up, I would say more toward the end of the level.
So here we introduce the sluggers, which are melee guys, don't have a gun. So the only way they attack is by jumping to us. So a clever strat we can do is just actually let them come to us while we kill other dudes. And that saves a little bit of time. Yeah. So this is where Super DSA is coming in pretty handy, because some of these jumps you can only make if you hit a Super DSA, which just gives you a ton of speed to make those huge caps.
Friendly reminder.
It's a really cool kill room coming up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this one's really nice. I love that backdash strat.
Oh, he dodged! You see that? That was insane!
Oh, okay. It looked cool. It looked cool to me.
That was insane.
Friendly reminder that a Super DSJ is a combination of that ledge jump tech we mentioned earlier, and then also using a dash slide jump. The timing for it is much more precise than really most other tech in this game.
It's no use anyway.
So here's a weird trick that we can sometimes get here. It's pretty rare though. You only get one shot at it. For some reason, the game like kind of thinks you can wall run in Cyberblades, but you really can't. So if you do something here,
usually it's just like sprint.
If you hit the wall in a weird way there, you just get like extra walking speed. Like move super fast with the Cyberblade. It's pretty hard to hit though.
We literally only do it in this, and it's just used to press those three buttons fast, but it doesn't matter. So this Cybervoid actually unlocks a ability, or upgrade ability, that we're going to use to do a very cool skip that was found by Brian Otto.
Yes, so this gives us an ability, or sorry, an upgrade that allows the power-ups to last for longer. And so I mentioned earlier that, you know, the power-ups are supposed to be a lock and key system. You know, you use one power-up, you get through one fan, whatever. It's going to be a bit different here. This is my most proud find in the game. So we're going to grab this power-up here, and we're going to go so fast that we're going to get farther than, of course, was intended for us to get through. So if our movement is near perfect, we can get through the second fan, and that saves about 8 seconds over doing the other room in there. That strat looks way easier than it was back when we first routed that. Like, that was such like a do-or-die trick back in the day, and Blade just cruises through it. So that's really sick.
Kick down the door out of nowhere.
Right here, you're supposed to go out of your way to stop these pistons, but we can go over those. And we can also just go right over these.
Another Super DSJ.
Super DSJ.
Yeah.
It turns us against each other. The guard recruits the most brutal and
Oh, I even see that the stream has replays. Oh, that's sick. Whoa. Shoutouts to Stream Tech.
So this is my level. You may have noticed that Blade is doing like a weird jump tech at the start of these elevators. What's that called again, Blade?
I believe it's called an up dog. Do you know what that is?
I don't know. What's up, dog?
Not much. How about you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with this? You're ruining the joke.
So an up dog is we got a little boost. What you're supposed to do is push up against the wall and dash as soon as you hit the ground, and it will shoot you up. Oh my goodness! It'll shoot you up instead of shooting you forward because you're pushed up against the wall. Yeah, these are called hack jumps. These little, sorry, that was my phone. These little spinning things you can stop by hacking them. Or you can not stop them and use their momentum. Oh my gosh, that was really fast. Yeah, you can use them to throw yourself forward just like that. So we got a little bit of time here. I'm gonna give ourselves something pretty to look at. Cool, a new sword.
Oh, wow.
And we also have these new power-ups. They are shurikens. They can be used to hit these little battery packs on the walls, and in that case, we stop that electricity from killing us on that wall run. They can also be used to open doors as well as kill enemies. This room's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool room. You do it so fast that the gate like doesn't open in time. It's wild.
Yeah. What the heck's going on there? That was weird.
So with those shuriken power-ups, they actually last for like quite a long time. So we have some strats where we can get the power-up. Oh, what's all?
Okay.
So we can like get the power up and carry it into the next room. That actually provides quite a few uses for us. So we get another shuriken power up here. We do the little puzzle. We're going to bring it through to this next room. We're going to kill these two SMG guys over here. That's going to give us focus, and that charges our ability. So you see in the bottom left, the bar is much more filled up now. We'll have Blink for this next fight, which is going to come in real clutch here. This is another sick fight, by the way. Grapple up, Blink the last guy, and it's over. Super sick strat.
You can see it whenever we finish a kill room, we kind of like blip, our screen fizzes out, we kind of get teleported to a later part in the level where the fight is already finished. We're pretty much just getting a checkpoint at the end of the kill room. There's kind of a little bit of debate about that whole strat when the game was when the game like first came out.
It was a lot less elegant back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically...
But now it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, as soon as you complete a kill room, there's a checkpoint that is instantly written at basically the exit of the room. So 99% of the time, as soon as a kill room is finished, you hit that reset button, and it puts you right at the end. So it saves a ton of time throughout the run.
This type of void is just full of back-to-back puzzles that have the same solution every time. So we're kind of just breezing through it. This bridge is gonna like break halfway, so we already know that. We're just gonna go straight down.
That's the part that kills encoding all the time.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a little something extra.
All right.
Actually, the Cyber Void is like super mind bending.
It's true.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Your
Like,
first playthrough.
just like kind of like breeze right through it.
This hallway's gonna run away from us. We're gonna need to back up to pull it back, just like that. All right, this is very hard. I'm gonna be quiet.
So this next Cyber Void is super hard. We're gonna try to do what's called fast cycles. So there's moving platforms all throughout the Cyber Void, and they move on a global cycle. So as soon as we spawn in,
let's go.
They're already moving. So there's the first part. It's not done yet though. There's another moving platform at the end of the section, and we're gonna try and go fast enough to hit that.
Keep in mind, we don't have dash here. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
So there's a backup strat for this as well. I like to call it half cycle. I don't know if Blake calls it.
Half cycle sounds good.
So we just come over to the platform first on this side, grab the orb, reset checkpoint, and then we can get to the other one. So we don't have to wait for the platform cycle.
Should be noted that this Cyber Void gives us the most broken ability in the whole game, which is called Tempest.
True.
It is effectively just like a shotgun blast out of your hand that also reflects projectiles. It is going to trivialize a lot of the fights in the game, just because the cone on it is really, really big. And we will be getting a special upgrade for it later on, which we'll touch on when we get there. Or I guess I'm assuming y'all still get that. We usually use that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, I was realizing I'm talking pretty confidently about a game I haven't ran in like a year and a half. So
no, the ability is so good. We literally skip getting an entire ability at one point. Here,
this level,
going.
We get introduced to mechs. They're like one of the most difficult enemies to fight because they have these huge hitboxes that you can shoot at. Clearly, you can see. And their tracking is really insane. They will track you down to a pixel. But luckily we can just slide under them pretty consistently and bait out their attacks. And it's not too bad here. One final kill room to the end.
Nice.
Nice little Tempest.
All right, so this is our first boss of the game. This is Tom. Tom is a big old cylinder, and they shoot lasers. So we need to climb this tower twice. We need to cut down the right blue cord first, and then cut the left blue cord second. That's how you do it normally. In the speed run, we go straight to the second cord. Oops, I totally missed that. We get up fast as we can and go straight to the second cord. And that completely skips needing to cut the first cord. There's a little bit of a crash that can happen here sometimes. Thankfully, we didn't get it. We're all good. Not only does that skip needing to climb it like 2 more times, it also makes the last like 3 phases ridiculously easy. There's supposed to be like firewalls shooting out from the middle. We're just gonna walk up and break these.
It's amazing how such a simple skip like just really breaks this fight so much, but also allows it to continue as normal. Like it doesn't break the game. It's really cool. We've been doing that since like day 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
In that fashion,
really
more or less.
They tried to patch it, and we did it anyway, and they put it back in.
Yeah. This game's patch history is messy, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this patch is more than 6 months old that we're running on right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Here we're on to the beautiful part of the game. So we're out of the underbelly and we are into the city. We have these drones here. You can jump on top of them, steer them around with your sword like this, and when they land, they explode. And they also give you charge for your ability. These jump things, Clayton, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so right there we do a moon jump. So these jump power-ups work kind of weirdly. If you like interrupt the animation anyway, it just makes you get launched way higher than you're supposed to. So we can do it through various methods. There we just kind of walk into the wall and it gives us the boost.
Super sick. I will point out the upgrades that we just put on. I believe, so you upgrade, I forget, the first one is like you upgrade the range on Tempest, is that right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is it's called multi-kill refund, which is a sick hack gem, by the way, which is a ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
If you get more than 1 kill with the Tempest, which already has a huge cone, it gets refunded instantly.
Boom.
And that's exactly what I was talking about with trivializing a lot of fights. Like, yeah, and that level's over, by the way, it's done.
Yeah, Tempest is so insane that we skip our third ability. We literally just don't need it. And Tempest is also going to come very in handy now that we have a new enemy type called Wardens, or we call them Samurais. You have to wait for them to attack you, or Weeps. You have to wait for them to attack you and then parry their attack, and then you can kill them. So we're going to do anything but that to kill them if we need to kill them at all. Like we just skipped like 1 and there's like 2 below us. We're just going to walk right past them. If we do need to kill them, we can use our Tempest, which is very good. We can use the shurikens, we can use the drones to ride them into them, and yeah, literally any other way than the intended way to kill those guys.
Another heavy abuse of Tempest coming up here to kill these Wardens. Tempest, and the fight's already over. What a ridiculous ability.
Yep. It used to be more crazy. It used to go through walls.
Yeah, and then they patched it out, unfortunately.
Still.
So you notice that when we got to the city here, the game opened up quite a bit. We're basically just parkouring a bunch across a bunch of skyscrapers. It actually allows for a lot of freedom in our routing. So you're gonna see this wall climb over here. Doesn't really seem too far out of the way, but this actually skips like half the level.
Amazing.
It skips like a whole enemy type and like half the levels over right there. You see like a new sniper enemy here. It's gone. Never gonna see him again.
True.
Yeah, the only sniper enemy in the entire run exists right there.
This part is hard.
Yeah.
Fun Cyber Void coming up.
To protect the public.
So yeah, really hard strat here. We're gonna try and do. We're trying to collect all the orbs, and with this strat we can do it in 4 rotations roughly. It's a very tight strat though, so if you mess anything up, there's a good chance you're gonna be falling behind here. It looks like Blade's pretty good though. He's nailing it so far. Pretty simple jumps to the end. It looks like he's got this. Yeah.
Nice.
That's the 4 rotation strat.
Nicely done.
Thank you. So this is our second boss. In the story, they're an augmented version of ourself, so they possess much further jump abilities, as you can see. So right now, we're not going to fight her quite yet. We are going to just chase her, and she's very fast, so we might need to catch her train level. Okay, so we're going to change our upgrades right here. We just made it so our dash has a little bit faster of a cooldown. So I grabbed that checkpoint right there because this fight is pretty hard. Okay, cool. Yeah, we actually used that drone. We flew that drone into one of the samurai dudes there. Since it was so close to the start of the level, we didn't have our Tempest quite yet for that samurai guy yet.
It's getting away. At this rate, it will reach the core
They get
before
into the
you can
tunnel.
accept.
Which is more or less just an auto scroller. You can like kind of speed it up if you dash on these ramps here,
You could.
but it's generally just the same movement every time.
They have intro tube here, same as the base.
All right, so the train is a little bit weird.
Just hop on.
Nice.
So the top of the train will have some railroad signs coming through, but if we actually stay on this zip line a little bit longer, we skip them spawning in. So we have some clear airspace to do a super DSJ all the way across to this side. And then they spawn in with the second trigger. These ones are much easier to dodge. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to hit that one. A couple Tempests to finish out the level, and we are on to our second boss fight.
All right, and this one is
You say fight.
Yeah, a fight. so heavy quotes on fight. This fight really is like the epitome of any sort of speedrun boss skip. It's pretty incredible. Like, if you know, like it really is like you ask yourself the question: what if you just didn't fight the boss? You know, what if you just left? What if instead of fighting the boss, you literally just turned around and ran away and went to the end of the level? And that is what this is, as you will see here.
Yep. Quick little deflect so we don't die. And we are out of here. Turns out the door at the end of the level is already open. We can just get right into the elevator. And this skips not only fighting her 4 phases of a very long fight, it also completely skips a Cyber Void and unlocking our 3rd ability. And if we were to hit continue, we would have loaded into that. So we had to level select because the next level was already unlocked.
Yeah, pretty amazing. That's another skip that we've known since like day 1 or 2, thanks to some of the Chinese runners in our community, which is pretty cool. So shout out to Elemi. Anyway, this is my favorite level on the run, the Forbidden Zone. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. The main thing that this level introduces is these turrets. You can see their FOV by the sightlines there. Generally speaking, they will kill you as soon as they see you for the most part, though if you are really careful about it, we can do some cool stuff with them, which we'll see in just a bit here.
They can see me.
Is that this room coming up? I forget how far it is.
It's in like a
few rooms ahead. Okay, cool.
Just small column here. Fun fact, you can actually skip that first guy. You can still get that checkpoint for this and open up the door.
Okay, here we go. This is the one. Yeah, so this one's really sick. This is another one of my favorite scratch. If you pull the FOV of the turret down, it stops looking at the door and allows you to skip this entire room. That saves probably like 5 or 6 seconds. It's really neat.
Yeah.
And then, oh, no, wait, do you get this? Oh my god, I can't believe you hit that, like,
It's okay, we'll get it with no slow-mo, we got this.
I love this strat, dude. This is one of my favorites.
This is one of the coolest.
Yeah.
No, I tempest it! When did my ability switch?
Oh, man.
Whoops. Yeah, I think Bloodshot found this originally. Shout out to Bloodshot.
Yeah, Bloodshot.
And I recently optimized it after, so we jump off this little like billboard here. We just blink all the way
so this
up.
is another safe strat. You can put on blink range, and then you can blink up,
Nicely done.
and then we can change it back to make our Tempest OP again. Dang, that was real close. I just barely missed that second drone. So this room is shows the true power of the Tempest. Okay, now it shows the true power of the Tempest. 1, 2, 3, 4, through all the shields.
Wow.
Oh my god. So there's another little trick you can do with these jump things. If I get it right here. Yes.
Oh.
So that is another way to do the moon jump.
How did that work exactly?
Not even sure, actually. If you just,
I was
like,
about to say, I didn't say
if you
anything.
just land back on the ground, you can still use the jump boost like a second later.
Yeah.
So we barely fit within that time window with that jump.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the timer where you can jump and still get the boost is still active, just not on your screen after your first jump. And so if you do it before the timer goes away, your second jump is like super juiced or something. So this level is gonna introduce quite a bit right in the beginning. So there's a new enemy. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The first thing in this level is dog. Okay, and then the first thing in this level is a fan that you have to stop using shurikens, but just like the other fan, we can slip right through it. There is a door right here with a trigger right there on that line. We're gonna run over the trigger a couple times. Oh, I almost made that.
So weird. This is so weird.
It is so weird.
Yeah, it's very finicky.
Doing that baits the door down. So if we walk over like 3 times, we push the door open a lot, and that saves us needing to go out of our way to press a button to keep the door open. These are the new enemy type. They explode on you, so you need to bait them to the side and get around them. I don't know what they're actually called.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what they're called either. I just know that they were voiced by one of the developers' pugs, like their dog. Their little
So we call them pugs.
Yeah.
I used to know their name, but it's been so
Yeah, I
long.
mean, I saw somebody say in chat, like, watching the speedrun reminds me of just how little people care about the story in this game. And to that I have to say, so true. So true. Like, people, like really, this game is 100% gameplay driven. And, I mean, as you can tell by the run itself, it's, yeah, I mean, we haven't explained any lore elements because, frankly, they're not that interesting. The game is just really fun to play and run.
Yeah, I mean, I know she says Among Us. That's about it. Yeah,
Among Us?
yeah. Well, I got it pointed out to me. It's ruined. This cyber void is extremely hard. Just like in all the cyber voids, we have no dash. So ledge boosting, slide hopping on top of these little fences and then getting a nice ledge boost off of them is so hard. I've lost so many runs to this level.
It always amazes me. Like, when I ran this game, I would have to, like, stop and, like, set it up, and then y'all just kind of send it these days. And yeah, seeing that is really, really impressive. Like, I can't understate, or overstate, rather, how difficult it is just to do a slide jump and then do the ledge boost right off there.
Interfaces. Yes, there's a way to exploit them.
There's a little S-tap you can do to skip that last jump pad, but not worth it at the moment for me. I'm not good at it yet. Oops. Okay.
I can hear you inhaling there too.
Tapping.
Here we go. Yeah.
So this is pretty much over. One more jump. And now we get our fourth ability, not our third ability, our fourth ability, Overlord. I'm gonna go for a little bit of a dumb strat here. It shouldn't take too much time, but if I get it, it'd be cool.
That looks cool.
Here we go.
Very hard.
Oh my gosh, you can just almost barely make that without needing to do it anyway.
Like the wall jump speed preservation thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the wall kick storage.
Wall kick storage.
Yeah. Very, very strange thing that happens if you kick off a wall in the cyber void. Checkpoint reset. You keep some of that air momentum, and then next time you're in the air, what in the world? Next time you're in the air, you can get a huge boost of speed. Oh my gosh, I thought I failed it, so I checkpoint reset. Yeah, I'm a little bit checkpoint reset happy with that button. Sometimes I do it preemptively on accident. But yeah, this is our last ability. We didn't talk about it because we're only going to use it once. We're just going to switch back to Tempest immediately.
As you do.
As you do. Yeah, this, so from here on out, kind of begins this, I would say this is more or less kind of like the home stretch of the run. Like, we're definitely in the end game, so to speak, where it's just a ton of these really elaborate and difficult kill rooms just over and over and over. It's a really interesting way to end the run, in my opinion, or a really fun way, I would say.
Very giant gauntlet all the way throughout. So we get introduced to, nice early kill there. So we get introduced to these purple guys. They're called shifters. They will like shoot lasers at you and also teleport around. But if we're quick enough, we can actually catch up to them before they teleport away. Subway too there. But they can be a bit random, especially this guy right here. So we're basically gonna have to play this by ear and kind of route on. Yeah, so nice. You have to like route on the way how you should kill the purple guys because they can teleport in pretty random spots sometimes. Sometimes they can manipulate them though.
Yeah. We did that in this level.
Case by case.
This level is pretty hard.
Yes.
Lots of kill rooms. Every upgrade, power up, every enemy type is here.
Yeah, really cool level.
You could say you wouldn't believe.
You wouldn't believe how cool this level is. So this first shuriken power-up we're going to pick up is going to seem very insignificant, but is actually the most important thing in this level. Oh my goodness, I got rolled.
Oh.
Give me a second. There we go. This one right here. So picking this up, we're barely going to use it. We're literally not going to use it at all. What it does is it extends the length of every other shuriken power-up in the level. So we're going to use that to carry it in through rooms, and it's going to be
literally
crazy.
So weird. Like, when we were originally routing this game, like, people would randomly just have really short duration shurikens here, and we couldn't figure out why. And it wasn't until I mentioned them earlier, Elume came up and said, like, literally, if you skip that shuriken, which everybody was doing because there's no point in doing it, if you skip that shuriken, every single other power-up in the level is like 3 times as short. But so it's really important to grab that because it enables a ton of strats, or I guess I would say a couple strats that we'll see. We already saw one of them, and another one later on.
This room's very hard. All these enemies are like barely out of the range of Tempest. So like these last two, I don't even use Tempest. Just for consistency, I just kill them normally.
Understandable.
This pipe is very strange. These pipe has very weird collision, and here's a new enemy. These are called splitters. They're one person, split into 5 people. Use slow-mo time and dodge side to side, and you can see the real one, kill the real one, and all the fake ones die.
Here's our single use of Overlord.
Yep, there it is.
For this kill room because Tempest doesn't go through walls anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
I really thought it was gonna like track to that guy. It's fine. There we go. Okay, so right here, this kill room, the second we get into it, we're going to checkpoint reset. That resets the shifters, the teleporter guys. We're gonna go to the left, and that baits both of them to the right side where they are together, and we can use our Tempest on them. And then we get through that room very fast.
That's a new one.
There's gonna be a lot going on right here. Here's a quick little moon jump all the way up to this shuriken. Because of that first shuriken we picked up, this is gonna last forever. We're gonna use it to open the door. Yeah, go into the next room, use it to completely demolish this room.
Nice.
And over here, we're also going to jump and use our Tempest. That will throw us all the way up here. Do a little mid-air dash to cancel the pull-out animation for the shuriken. Get all around this, pick up this jump, and dash through the door all the way through the last room.
Oh my god.
All that was
Jeez.
so clean.
What the hell?
And I missed the button.
Bro, what was that? The Tempest jump?
Yeah.
So like I said, you can any way that you interrupt the
Oh, you
jump
interrupt it.
animation,
Oh,
it'll get launched.
okay. I was like,
Yeah.
does Tempest boost you? Like, what? Like, I was so.
That does not.
I think of it that
That
way.
was blowing. That was
It's
blowing my
only
mind for a
jump.
second. I was like, how did I not know this? Yeah.
So this is our kind of final boss in the game. There's a weird little skip you can do, and we need to change our power-ups for it. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, keep a mental note of the green block there.
Yeah.
So I should probably talk about. So a few months after launch, they released a hardcore mode. So originally, someone hardcore mode. They added a bunch of enemies, a bunch of laser walls, a bunch of grapples everywhere. It's basically just a harder mode of this mode. But they didn't implement it like super perfectly, so some of the stuff just like leaked into classic somehow.
Which is what we're
So
running.
yeah. So usually you have to fight a bunch of enemies up to the boss fight here, and so they give you your ability for that, but usually we wouldn't have it. So if we bump into Mara here, that refreshes our HUD, and that'll reveal that we actually have our ability in the bottom left now. And that's actually gonna be super crucial to doing a skip here. We're gonna skip Mara's third phase.
I can't get her to hit it.
Oh my god.
Okay, how you normally do this is you bait the poke attack to hit these things at the side of the arena.
Yeah, we're basically just playing like jump rope here, but luckily we can skip the last phase, which is the longest phase. And how we do that, or how that works, is basically for some reason the tentacles that we're slashing here is active at the start of the phase. This is a theory, by the way.
Yeah.
It's active at the start of the phase, and it's just inside of our force field, so we can't hit it right away. But since we have our blink, and we put in that one upgrade is actually going to increase the hitbox size of our blink. So you can kind of see the gears turning now. We're going to blink into her force field, and that's going to give us just enough range to hit that trigger inside of her and actually kill her, end her last phase early.
There's
also a cutscene that plays, so we're going to try to pause the game before the cutscene, but after her death to unlock the next level, like that. Actually,
we hit the tentacle inside of her.
So by the way,
And we
with that
pause.
quit out right there, the cutscene just skipped, and also Mara died. So yeah, it's really confusing, but that's literally the skip. It's one of the most bizarre skips I've seen in a speedrun. It's very strange.
Now this level has a very fun skip.
Yes, it really does. This is the last level of the game, so yeah, time will be coming up in a few minutes. Ooh, I like the S-tap there. That's nice. So this level has some really interesting characteristics to it. So we're kind of in the cyber void, but now we have all of our abilities, and you'll see that there are these moving platforms that are right here. And so these platforms actually move on a set cycle, and then when they reach the end of the cycle, they will teleport to the front and then kind of reset. And so if we're standing on top of them, when they teleport, we literally get teleported with it. That's an incredible strat that was found by a casual player named Young Will, Y-U-N-G Will, and we of course call that the Young Will special. We're going to see it 2 more times after this. Also balls.
Yeah, we call those level balls for this exact reason. These ones in particular, oh my gosh, I almost hit that.
You may have noticed at the start of the level that Blade was kind of grappling on invisible grapples that weren't even there. So grapples are also something that carried over from hardcore, but they're just invisible, so we're grappling thin air here. So we can grab that grapple there and go straight to the jump pad, and that saves like 6 seconds.
Young Bull special.
Why are you so selfish? This is how you can serve humanity.
And then I believe there's one more, right? Yeah, this one's
Yeah,
always
right
the
here.
hardest.
One more.
This one's
Am I
always
gonna make that? I don't think I'm gonna make that. I'm going over
It's
here.
the hardest, but surprisingly the most consistent. So as long as you get on top, it always
dude.
works.
And here we go.
So we got time coming up in like 20 seconds here.
We're gonna take this last jump pad and we're gonna fly through the air. We're gonna stop time when we lose control of our character. Coming up real soon, and time. All right, so 40 flat, really nice.
Nicely done.
Well, that was Ghostrunner, 80% inbounds. If you guys enjoyed, hope you guys did. If you want to speedrun the game, you can go ahead and go to the speedrun.com page for Ghostrunner, and there are links to the speedrun Discord. There's loads of people there willing to help you. We got a great community, loads of tutorials, YouTubes, Google Docs, loads of categories too. Most recently, we got category extensions. There's some fun stuff on there and mods and everything. So if this category didn't interest you, I'm sure there's something that will. My name is Blade Lamau. I live stream on Twitch every single day. You can find me at twitch.tv/BladeLamau. Bladen?
I also stream on Twitch on the very rare occasion.
At like 5 in the morning when I can't watch.
Yeah, I'm trying to push my times in Titanfall 2 right now, which gets compared to Ghostrunner quite a bit. So
Yeah. By the way, I also want to give a. I'm not trying to steal Blade the Mouse.
Oh no, for sure, anything.
But I just want to give a quick shout out to Bladen 2, who just won our annual huge Titanfall 2 speedrun tournament. So yes, you should absolutely drop both of them and follow. So yeah.
What about you?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah.
You stream all the time.
I don't know. Yeah, I stream all the time too. Twitch TV, Brian Otto, yada yada. Yeah. People. Well, I feel like most people that are probably watching this know who I am at this point. So
That's probably true.
Yeah. But yeah. Blade, really sick run, dude. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for commentating.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
That was awesome.
yeah, it's an awesome opportunity.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and showing it off. And yeah, so a couple last 2 announcements before we end the night. Just a reminder, Games Done Quick will be at PAX East 2022, April 21st to the 24th. If you want to submit a run, it's all in person. Exclamation point PAX, PAX in the Twitch chat and fill out the form. If you missed this run, coming in at the end and you want to see the Ghostrunner run, you want to see any of the Destiny 2 runs, you want to see the Paper Mario randomizer, check it out at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick, along with the Games Done Quick highlights, which is a channel that's just, short clips of the best moments of all the HotFix shows. Exclamation point highlights in chat for that. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to check us out live, we start every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern and every weekend day, at 1 p.m. Eastern. At twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. Oof. You can tell it's 1 a.m. Really, I'm struggling here.
Yeah, a little bit too.
But yeah, if you enjoyed this run, bits, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs all help support the HotFix channel. So if you want to support this and other shows that we do, feel free to sub. And tune in tomorrow for Mercy Kill at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Got a bunch of good shows lined up, so I'm really excited for them.